Hey guys, it's Eileen over at Hustle and Slow on YouTube, and you can find my blog, hustleandslow.com. You can also find me at Hustle and Slow on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for visiting my channel again, and today I'm going to be talking about how to find more time as a work-at-home mom. But I know not everybody's a work-at-home mom, but some of these tips might help you too. I went from working from home as a normal person with no children, I don't know, as a person, to being a work at home mom with a baby and then a toddler. And then we had our second child, and my husband now stays home. So I've done the whole work at home thing through all kind of three seasons, and I've learned a lot from that. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to kind of tell you how to kind of maybe try to find more time as a work at home mom or anybody that works from home, really. A lot of these will be geared towards moms because if you're a mom, you know we're busy. So, number one is calendar blocking. This is something that I just recently started doing this year. It's something that I've tried kind of in the past before, but wasn't great at. But now that I'm doing it, I love it. It's amazing. I fought it up for a long time because why have a schedule when you work from home, right? Like, what's the point? You're supposed to be home so that you can have the freedom to work for yourself and do things how you want. So why create a schedule? The reason I create a schedule is because if I don't have it laid out for me exactly what I need to work on, then it doesn't get done because I always have like 1,000 things to do and I just keep switching gears from one to the other. So now I kind of have a schedule, and my basic schedule right now is from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. I'm working if I get up. I don't always get up at 5, but if I do, I'll get up between or at 5, and then I'll work till about 7 or 7:30. And then until about 9, I'll be with the kids. I'll do breakfast, some morning chores, stuff like that. While my husband hopefully sleeps in because he usually is up late working because his like work shift is at night. Um, his work shift at home, but he helps with the kids a lot during the day so that I can work, and then at night he works. So yeah, I usually try to work until about 9, or I try to stay with the kids until about 9. I hang out with them, and then from 9 to 12, I'm always working. Um, that's kind of like my prime time. I work really well in the morning. The afternoon's kind of a slump for me, so if I can work really well in the morning, my day is usually going pretty well. So I'll work until 12. From 12 to 1 is family time and lunchtime, so I'll go downstairs and we'll have lunch kind of as a family. Usually it's just leftovers or whatever. And then from 1 to 4, I'll try and work again for another like 3 hour block. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 3 hour block of time. And then around 4, 4:30, I will go downstairs and start making dinner. Or if my husband's making dinner that night, I will take over with the kids and hang out with them. And then from dinner time until kind of bedtime is family time. Or if I need to catch up on something work related, I'll do that real quick. But I try not to work after dinner because I've just been working all day, and I find that if I'm working long hours, they're not efficient hours. So it's better for me to work a short amount of time and be really efficient. Number two is to ask for help. If you have family in the area that you can ask to watch your kids, whether they come over and you feed them lunch while they watch your kids for a couple of hours, or you have, like me, we just recently moved and my sister lives like 2 miles away, and she has a son who's about a year younger than mine. So maybe once a week I will go and drop my son off to play with her son, my nephew, and that gets our 3-year-old out of our hair kind of for a few hours, and then we just have the baby, and she usually naps in the afternoon, so my husband and I can both work. If you don't have family in the area, maybe you can find someone in a local mom group or a church, or even hire someone if you have the means for it. I find that it's worth it to hire out services sometimes if it helps me make more money. So if you can't, ask for help. Number 3 is super obvious. It's like the number one tip. It's work when your kids are sleeping. I know that doesn't work for everybody because some kids just don't sleep. Luckily, I've had good nappers. When it was just my son and I at home every day, I would crank out work when he was sleeping during his afternoon nap usually, and then at night when he was sleeping. So that was a really big thing for me, but I know that doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody's kids sleep well. But if your kids do sleep well, try and work during that time if you don't need to take a nap as well. Okay, number 4 is prioritize, and that just means there are 2 ways to prioritize. I mean big picture and also daily tasks. For big picture, what are you responsible for? If you have too many I guess, responsibilities or commitments on your plate, then try and cut those down. I try to do everything, and this is really hard for me to do because I think of new things and I want to do new projects all the time, new businesses, new whatever exciting thing I thought of. And I think that's why has taken me so long to start to find success in my businesses, because I just like have shiny object syndrome. So, big picture, try to cut down your priorities, and day to day, try to just do a couple of things a day. If you write down your to-do list for the day, most likely you're going to write down way more than you can realistically do. So if you write down 10 things, put a check or a star next to 3 of them and do those first. If those get done, then you can move on to 2 or 3 more. That's how I usually do my to-do lists. I will pick out 3 really important things to get done, and I will only work on those and forget about everything else until those are done. Number 5 would be to save special activities for work time. For us, stuff like Play-Doh or puzzles, or I'm trying to think of what else. Play-Doh, puzzles, like those activity books where they can either, what is it called? The ones with the paint built in, and you can use the paint, or I don't know, all sorts of different things. Things that your kids don't normally have access to become special. So I have a lot of activities that are put in the cabinet that I don't let my son have access to all the time, and I will pull those out if I need to get some stuff done. Sometimes it only lasts 5 minutes, sometimes he's good for like an hour. So that also works really well. Number 6 would be to focus on kids. I find that if I give my son my full attention, not playing on my phone, not trying to work, not trying to do chores, not trying to do anything else, just give him my full attention for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, he's good for a while. Like he had my attention, he feels listened to and played with and loved, and then he will let me go and do some stuff for a while. So I've found that trying to multitask all the time and like only giving him half of my attention kind of doesn't work. It makes me frustrated, it makes him frustrated, and it just doesn't work. So give your kids a couple of blocks of time each day where you're only focused on them, and I think that you'll find that they will let you kind of get some stuff done right after that. Number 7 is to start independent play as soon as possible. I know this is not going to work for everybody. Everybody's kid is different. Do not attack me if your kid cannot play independently. I know all kids are different, but with my son, I was working from home from the start, and I would kind of just pick certain parts of the day that worked for me, and I would let him play on the blanket next to me while I did work, or let him play in his playpen or in his bouncy seat or whatever while I made breakfast or whatever. And these times of day, he kind of just got used to playing by himself. So right now, he's 3 and he still usually plays pretty well by himself in the morning. So the morning is a great time for us to get stuff done, great time for me to cook breakfast and not have anybody bugging me or pulling on me. So that's something that I started when he was pretty much a newborn when we first came home with him. So if you can, and you're just starting off with a baby, kind of just slowly give them time by themselves. And obviously, if they start freaking out, you pick them up. But if you start giving them a little bit of time and little bits of time where they're playing by themselves, they kind of learn to entertain themselves. Not always. Don't get mad at me. I think we're on number 8, and that would be routine. It kind of relates to the independent play thing. For me, my son plays really well in the morning. That was just kind of our routine. We would get up, I would put him down. I mean, I would feed him and play with him for a little bit, but then I'd put him down and I'd go make breakfast, tidy up the kitchen, and do a little work, and he was usually good for a little while. So just kind of find what a natural routine would be for your family. If mornings don't work, then maybe afternoons after their nap, they can play by themselves for a little bit, or do a certain activity every day at the same time, and you can also have your own routine where you're doing something that you need to do for work during those times. Okay, number 9 is getting up early. I mentioned in number 1, I think, that I have kind of a schedule now where I try to get up at 5. Don't always do it, but when I do, I get a good amount of work done. I work really well in the morning because nobody's awake. It's quiet and I'm not getting distracted by hearing everybody play. I work from home and everybody's home, so even with my door shut, I can just like hear the kids playing or crying or whining, and I want to go down and help, and I can't concentrate. So in the morning, I'm super productive. So when I can get up, I do. I have tried getting up with an alarm at like 4:30 or 5. Worked for a little bit, but now I just kind of naturally let myself wake up. If I have enough sleep, I usually naturally wake up refreshed at like maybe 3, 4, or 5 o'clock. If it's on the earlier end, I'll usually get back in bed at like 6. I'll work for a couple hours at like 3 or 4 in the morning and then get back in bed at 6, take a quick nap to refresh myself. And then when the kids wake up, I'll wake up. Or if I wake up at 5, I'll just stay up. But getting up early really, really helps me. I know it's something that a lot of people don't want to do. And especially if your kids already get up early, if your kids are up at like 6 in the morning, it doesn't sound like fun to get up at 4 or 5, but it's super productive and it starts the day off with a lot of stuff getting done, and I feel so much better about the day rather than being frustrated that I'm still not done with my to-do list. So, okay, I think we're on number 10, and that's utilizing timers. I actually have, where's my little, I have this guy, I got him on Amazon. I will link him down below, but you just, like if you want to go for 30 minutes, you just, and it'll go off for 30 minutes. So it says there's 5 minutes, 15, 30, and 60 minutes. And then when you put it back right side up, then it just turns off. But I really like using timers. I will kind of race against the clock when I'm doing something. Like for example, if I'm listing stuff on eBay, I will try to see how many listings I can get done in 15 minutes. And this makes me work a lot more efficiently than just kind of listing. I find that timers really help. I do it in my personal life, like in the morning, I like to set a timer for 10 or 15 minutes and speed clean the kitchen. I do it for a lot of stuff, and I just find that I'm so much more efficient if I'm racing against the clock. So this cube guy has been my best friend. I also just use the timer on the microwave or on my phone, but having preset times, I can just like flip it and have it go, and that's really nice. Okay, I think we're at number 11, and that is don't multitask. Some things are good to multitask, but I've found that really focusing, you'll get that task done a lot faster than if you're trying to multitask. Similar to the not trying to play with your kid and do work at the same time, if I tried to play with my kids and list at the same time, I'd get like 3 listings done a day. But if I would just play with them, focus on them for like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, they might give me 10 or 15 minutes and I can get those 3 done in the next 10 or 15 minutes. So just really having focused work times is a lot easier than trying to work simultaneously while doing other stuff like around the house. That might not work for some people, but for me, it has worked really well, and that's coming from someone that loves multitasking. Like, I cannot just sit and watch TV, I have to be doing something at the same time, and I love to always be multitasking, but I found that with work, it just does not help with most things. It's not efficient, and it's not a good use of my time, and I'm not doing either of the things that I'm trying to do well. So, try not to multitask. All right, we're on number 12, and that is multitask. And yes, I did just tell you not to multitask, and now I'm telling you to multitask. For some things, multitasking is good. For example, I will throw laundry in the washer while I'm cooking breakfast, or things like that where you're multitasking while you're waiting for something else to happen, or if eBay's being really slow and my pictures are taking a long time to upload, I will open another listing and start to do that one. Or something like that, where it makes sense to multitask and you don't actually, there's like a wait time, like a pause. I like to use those pauses to do something really quick and then go back to the same thing. It doesn't always make sense because sometimes that shift of focus makes you work a little bit slower. But for some things, it really does help. Like the laundry thing, I love doing laundry while I will be, obviously I'm not doing the laundry, the washer is doing the laundry, but I will come downstairs, throw the laundry in, start making breakfast while the breakfast is cooking on the stove or whatever, like if it's oatmeal, I'll be cleaning the kitchen and I'll be doing all those at once, not playing on my phone, and just get all those things done at the same time. So I'm sure most of us do that already, but if you're not, find places where multitasking is good and where multitasking is not good and kind of figure out what works for you. All right, and number 13 is saying no. So there are things that have come up and you're going to want to do them and they're not going to be a good fit and you're going to know that and you're going to say yes anyway, and then it's going to frustrate you because you're either wasting time, you're wasting your money. And just remember, everything that you say yes to, you're saying no to something else because we only have so many hours in the day. So really think about the things that you're taking on and see if they're worth your time. And number 14, create systems or routines in things that you do regularly. For example, 2 examples, one house stuff and one work stuff. First example, we'll go back to that laundry thing. I get up in the morning, I try to do this, it doesn't happen every time. I get up in the morning and grab a load of laundry, I throw it in the washer, I start breakfast. While I'm doing breakfast, I tidy the kitchen. by the time we're all done with breakfast, usually the laundry's done, I switch it over to the dryer, and then it's my husband's problem. But that's kind of our routine, and it happens very easily because it's something that I'm used to, and it's something I don't have to think about. The less decisions you have to make, the less running around you're doing because you have a bunch of stuff on your list, the better. For work, we have a system now where I take photographs for eBay. I source first, then on Mondays I take photographs for eBay, and then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, my husband is downstairs listing those items that I photographed, and then on Thursday I just or not listing, but like drafting. So he does most of the listing. And then on Thursday, I knock out the entire list of stuff, which is usually between 50 and 100 items at this time. And I'll just do the titles, the pricing, and just kind of check everything over. So that is our system for listing stuff on eBay. When it was us just kind of doing one listing at a time, start to finish, or just doing things as we had time, or just not having really a process, we weren't getting much done. And now we get stuff done pretty easily. And the last one is to be realistic and be flexible, because if you're a parent, you know that something's always going to happen. And even if I have an awesome schedule, amazing routine, I have all these activities for my kid so that he can play by himself nicely, all these things that I listed before, there's still going to be times when you can't do anything but take care of your children, or times where you have to. My baby's crying. This is one of those times. There you go. But you just need to be realistic and be flexible. Now I can't concentrate because I can hear the baby crying. One of the perks of working from home is that you can stop and play with your kids if they really need you. This is why I am home. I'm home because I want to be with my family. So that's really one of the perks, and don't beat yourself up if one day nothing gets done. You really just have to be flexible and just be realistic about what you can get done and what you can't get done. So hopefully this video helped you. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I'm kind of trying to branch out and talk more about different aspects of entrepreneurship, not just reselling, and I hope that you guys like this video. I'll see you guys next time. Again, my name is Eileen, and you're watching Hustle and Sew. Thanks. Bye.